Welcome to Break the Cycle with Bethany Dotson, the podcast for high-achieving professional women who struggle with codependency, attracting emotionally unavailable partners, and who repeat dysfunctional patterns in love. I'm your host, Bethany Dotson, and if you want to learn more about how to break your cycle in love, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and be the first to know when a new episode drops. I'll see you inside.
Hello, everybody. Bethany Dotson, relationship coach and trauma-sensitive yoga therapist. And I am here today with my incredible client, Janet Adam, to have her share a little bit about her experience and speak about some of the insights that she has discovered from doing the work here and Break the Cycle. So, Janet, I am super grateful. I'm super grateful for you. Number one, yeah, I remember our enrollment call very vividly. And you've been an incredible person to work with on this side of the fence, this side of the equation. It's always wonderful to work with somebody. I know we've talked about being a perfectionist and trying to loosen the grip around those things, but the qualities and the traits that made you a perfectionist and that made you a problem solver often make somebody a really good candidate for this work. So I just, first of all, want to thank you for showing up and playing full out. Yeah, you've seen some changes. And so if you don't mind, I would love for you to share just a little bit about what life was like for you before you decided to book an enrollment call.
Oh my goodness. Very different. It's crazy to think that it's only been 3 months because so much has changed in my beliefs. And what's amazing to me is that I didn't realize how much needed to change or that could change, not just what needed to change, but just what could change. So before, my life was full of limiting beliefs. My Even though I considered myself a very positive person, I had negative self-talk, negative inner chatter, and I also carried a lot of shame for myself and blame against my ex. And so the class helped me be aware of all of those things. And I became aware of it because I changed those during the class and found better ways to think and believe.
Yeah. So could you speak a little bit? Could you just say, if you don't mind, sharing how long you were married and the dynamic you had with your ex if you were going through the divorce process? So you talked
Yeah.
earlier about blame. So could you share just a little bit how long?
Yeah. So we were married for 23 years. I got married right during college and had 2 kids during that time, which are now both teenagers. And so in the 3rd month of our marriage was when I started. That's the first time I had the thought that this wasn't the right person for me. There was a lot of unhappiness for 23 years and for various reasons. So there are lots of reasons I carried a lot of blame as well as shame with that. And so after going through the class and going through some of the methods and meditations, that's when I was able to release that and not carry that with me any longer. And it was a result that I never thought could happen. I didn't dream of that because I didn't know that was even possible of happening. It was just a result of going through this training. So now I can be in the same room with my ex and with the kids and just see him for who he is. I don't look at him and have that hatred and the discontent and just the negative feelings that I once did for so many reasons. I'm just simply with him and talking and chatting and laughing in a much healthier way.
Yeah, that's super, super important. I know that we talked about that earlier, but there are a lot of women that live in blame for a long time after they leave. And if it's not blaming their ex, they take a lot of time and energy blaming themselves
Mhm.
or blaming their age or blaming the city they live in or blaming the men on dating apps. And it's a really seductive place to be because we feel vilified. Is that the right word? Or justified. And we feel like, poor me, life is
Yeah.
unfair. And But when we live like that, the only person that we're continuing to hurt yourself.
It's us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And as you've learned through the work, everything that you're getting in your relationships boils down to you. So could you speak about some of the challenges, or not challenges, but I think in your graduation form, you mentioned, I thought this was going to be how to find the right guy for you type of program. But so you had some conceptions or maybe some preconceived ideas going into it, and then it turned out to be something different than what you expected. So could you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I did. I thought this program was going to be about just trying how to put your past behind you and how to move forward, meaning how to start dating and find another guy. But no, it does do that. It does help set you up for the future, but in a much deeper way because for me, the class just helped me dig deep and figure out why I was thinking the way I was. And then how I mentioned at the beginning, I had a lot of limiting beliefs that I didn't realize I had. And what you help to see is like more of an abundance theory, an abundance mindset in everything in life, and that we can go out and get anything we want. We just have to have the right mindset to go and do that. And there's so much more to this class. I don't even know how to put it all into words because I learned so much more than I even thought I could. But just working through all that and believing that we're worthy, I didn't realize before that I had that belief that I am worthy of getting what I want. So now I believe that I'm worthy. I understand that I can go out and date. And if a guy's not right for me, that's okay. There's going to be another one that is. And it's all just part of the process and part of the journey. And once we set our sights on something that we want, then we can go and we can get that. Just because we want it, that's enough to say, yeah, I'm worthy. I can go do this. So
Yeah.
just putting ourselves back in charge of our own lives and not relying on everyone else. I was codependent. And for me, realizing that I'm enough and I don't have to do things to make other people happy and win their love, that I need to do those things for myself. So, like, part of the class, we go on dates with ourselves and we take time to have fun every day. Those were all foreign ideas to me before, which I hate even saying out loud sometimes, but that wasn't something I did for myself before. But now I realize that's okay. And I should be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. The date and having fun. Believe it or not, I don't know if you expressed it or if you were just a trooper, but that those produce like mild panic in people because it's really at the edge of their comfort zone. And I think you've embodied how to get at the edge of your comfort zone and and adjust emotionally and get comfortable there and then take the next level. And that's really all that breaking a cycle is, getting here to the comfort zone, being okay at the edge of discomfort, and then, okay, now this is normal for me. Let me take the next step. And that's more or less what you've systematically done here. You mentioned two more questions I'd like for you to speak on. You mentioned you thought you were a strong person and you're a really positive person. And I find that sometimes strong people who are good at achieving things believe that they can fix something that's fix a failing ship, or a ship that just keeps getting holier and holier, no pun intended, but just like it keeps leaking water. So if someone were out there and listening right now and they were where you were 3 months ago, what would you tell them or what would you advise them about the future? Because I know a lot of people say in 3 months into your marriage, I don't think this is the right person for me. And then 23 more years go by. So there are a lot of people, and trust me, I talk to them. There are a lot of people that do that and they get very good at numbing.
Mhm.
themselves to the future because it's too scary to think about that. But if somebody were stuck where you were 3 months ago and they didn't think that healing was possible, and they didn't think that they could make a lot of changes in 3 months, what would you say to them?
Oh, you definitely can. Yeah, like I said, I made changes that I didn't even know existed. And like a perfect example is the week on forgiveness. I went into that week thinking it was going to be one thing. You assume it's going to be, we have to forgive everybody else for this. But that week was one of the most surprising weeks. That was the week on forgiveness was a whole different take on forgiveness than what I ever thought it would be. And one of the hardest weeks, but one of the best weeks. And that was where one of my biggest shifts came was after that week. So yeah, this class can take you places that you didn't know you needed to go. And in a way, 3 months feels like a long time, but in another way, it doesn't. So it's plenty of time to get a lot of work done. And with me, I looked a lot on the outside and what other people thought about me and thought about my decisions. But this class taught me I needed to look on the inside and what I wanted. So, my biggest advice for anyone else who's thinking, should I do this? It's just look at what you want and not what everyone else is going to think, but it's just about you, what you want and what you want to change.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And I love that you were open to the process and that you committed and that you pray full out and that you're consistent. And listen, nobody's going to be perfectly consistent every single day, 100% of the time. But the thing is like on a large scale, right? And you've learned tools, you have tools in your toolbox and you've gained deeper awareness. You thought you knew what the issue was. Then most people come in, they think they know, and they're true. They have a certain level of awareness. But in order to change behavior, we have to take that from the 10% all the way down to the percent. And so I really honor your courage and your bravery in saying yes to this work. And I think if my memory serves, you've been watching and reading for a long time.
Yes, I have been following you for
Mm.
years and years. Yes. And dreaming of the day that I could schedule that first call with you, dreaming of that day.
So I just invite people to hear that because sometimes it's not the right time, especially when people are still holding out hope. And there may have been a time in your marriage when you were holding out hope that, oh, it can work, it can work. But that's the addiction, right? That's the addiction to complacency. That's the addiction to comfort. That's the addiction to the dysfunction. But I'm so grateful that you said yes. So
Oh,
grateful.
me too. Can I make one additional comment too about the program? So, one other thing I wanted to say, and it goes back to that last question you asked me about the program, and that is that you walk alongside us the entire way. So, we're never doing the program alone. And that's something I would want somebody else to know as well is that we have our personal one on one sessions with you throughout the program, but then also 2 calls during the week, coaching calls. And so, anytime during the program, like it's a written program for anyone, but then you help us adapt it for ourselves. And so it's a specialized program for you and what you need as well because of those additional calls and advice, guidance that's given all along the way. So I think that's important too.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for speaking about that. Because some people have the I'm strong, I got this, I can do this. I survived 20 years with a narcissist. That may be their story, right? I can fix it myself. And sometimes people are so self reliant because they've been hurt so many times in relationships
Mhm.
in the past. And it can be actually more challenging to receive support while there is a structure and there is a plan and there is like a protocol, right? I definitely, it's not like a one size fits all because no person is the same. And the coaching is there to help you adapt the skills to your life and your specific challenges. So thank you for speaking on that important thing. Again, thank you so much for sharing your insight and your wisdom with us today. And I'm truly honored and grateful that I had the opportunity in this lifetime to walk alongside you and work with you.
Oh, I feel so honored to have gone through the program and to get your guidance along the way.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. A brand new episode drops each week. Be sure to click and subscribe. And remember, healing trauma, codependency, and your lifelong pattern in love does not happen by itself. You need expert guidance and evidence-based methods. And I've helped hundreds of incredible women from all over the country heal betrayal trauma and reclaim their confidence while falling wildly in love with their own lives and attracting healthy relationships. If you like what you heard today and you want to see if you're fit to work with us, go to bethanydotson.com/talk. That's bethanydotson.com/talk and book a call to speak with us today. We'll get on the phone for about 45 minutes and get you crystal clear on 3 things. The real reason you keep attracting dysfunctional relationships, even if you know better or even if you've done tons of work on yourself. What you really want in a relationship, how you want to feel emotionally every single day in your life, and what lifestyle changes you want to make. And then number 3, the exact strategy you need to be using to get there. Again, healing trust issues, codependency, and a lifelong pattern does not happen without expert guidance. We've helped hundreds of women across the country heal complex trauma, codependency, and have the healthiest relationships ever, both with themselves and with others. Go to bethanydotson.com/talk to book your call today. I'll see you on the next episode.